So I think finally we'll come to the league leaders at the moment, Arsenal. Uh, Arsenal, I think, guys, what do you think about their transfers? Uzair or Rohit, who was taken?
Yeah, so they started well, if I remember correctly. They got
Yeah,
the deal. They moved on Lacazette and
yeah.
Aubameyang, and they needed a proper number nine, and they got that with Jesus. You can see that how the season started, and Jesus he really relishes being that number
Mm,
nine, which he didn't really get at City playing at right wing in
true.
whatever reasons Guardiola had for playing him in the right wing. But yeah, striker, he's a menace. You can see that when he gets running with the ball and just controlling it, linking up play. They have a good attack right now. Zinchenko is also really good signing the in left back because they needed to solve that uh, Tierney issue when he's
Mhm,
very injury prone. You could see
true.
that, and they needed a good left back because Alex Telles, we saw what happened last season. He just wasn't good enough to play for that Liverpool
No,
or for
not
that
at all.
Arsenal starting 11. Yeah, and against Liverpool also he made a really silly mistake.
Hmm.
And yeah, they moved on Bellerin, they moved on Leno, Torreira, Guendouzi, all these fringe players that they had
Yeah,
to move on.
Pablo Mari.
And
Is he
yeah,
Yes,
still
Pablo
there
and
in
there's
the
Mari.
Pepe
squad
as
or?
well.
No, they've given him for a loan apparently.
Okay, okay.
Nicola Pepe is also
On
a
Yeah,
loan.
loan.
he's
But
gone to
then
Nice.
one issue I feel Arsenal will have this season is they're playing in the Europa League and they don't
Hmm.
have a right back for Saka. The with the games coming thick and fast, B is gonna
I
have
think,
very big
yeah,
issues.
like in the signings you mentioned, I think the only one we have really not seen so far is Fabio Vieira. I
Yeah,
don't really remember seeing him play. I'm not
no,
sure
no.
if he has
Don't
gotten
think
any
he
minutes
started.
so far. So he,
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I think he has an injury also because I haven't seen him in the
correct.
squad
So I think, yeah,
also.
once he is back, I think Arsenal will have a lot of options, going forward because he's also like an attacking midfielder who can play out wide. And I think even Smith Rowe, I think he has an injury right now. So once I think he is back, I think in terms of depth, I think Arsenal don't have any issues apart from CDM, like the Partey replacement. I think that is the only issue. And we
They
saw
badly wanted Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa.
exactly.
I think it would
Yeah,
have been a
it just didn't
fantastic
work
signing.
out.
Yeah, it would
True.
have
Yeah,
been a
it
And
didn't
terrific
work out for
the,
signing.
them.
also the thing with him is that Douglas Luiz was another of these City Football Group signings,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Arteta has worked with him in the past, so I can see why he wanted him. But I think Aston Villa was just adamant to stick to
He
their
Yeah,
scored a
47
splendid
million.
goal from the corner against
True.
Arsenal
yeah.
also.
He
I
does
don't
it.
know if
He's
you
done it
guys
twice or
saw.
thrice.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know if you guys saw there was another video along with that that was posted of him doing the exact same thing in the training ground.
Training.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he
He
mentioned it
did it
on
in the
his
match itself.
social
Yeah.
media, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Bro, I'm gonna do this." And it's like he just
So I
So
think
there.
that's what I think Arsenal have a really solid squad and you can see them gel together. And although Saliba wasn't a new signing, having him back, from
it
I
is
think
like a
Marseille.
new signing, literally.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, yeah.
pretty much a
Yeah.
new signing. So I think he's
Just
slotted
fitted in like
right
a
into
glove.
the team and he is pretty impeccable. Uh, I
The
think all
backline is
this
pretty solid right now. Also,
true.
Yeah.
they've had a good defensive shape, and teams find it hard to break them down. Also, Arsenal are finally getting back to the old. They have the big club status with them,
Yeah,
Fine. They
and
are just fine.
teams are starting to sit back from them. You can
correct.
see that also, which is
And especially like
yeah,
they were able to assemble a squad that's really talented, but also all of them are like from 20 to
Yeah.
25.
They play
So in
together.
yeah,
that, sort of age group, I think Xhaka is like one of the oldest at like 28.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
in a couple of years, you can really see this team growing together and sort of, I think this season they will have to, the expectation is to, finish in the top four and
At least
possibly
finish
win a
with the
trophy.
trophy. Yeah, yeah.
True. And, you can really see this team come together and, in a couple of years, have the ability to, compete with, Liverpool, City. and Chelsea for those top spots and even for the title eventually. I think the only biggest concern for me right now for them is just they need to hold on to these players
Hmm.
because I can see, Liverpool, City, sniffing around Saka and, trying to get him out of the club.
Even
Martinelli is
Klopp's been a big fan of Martinelli.
exactly. So I think the biggest challenge for them now is going to be to sort of keep the squad together, and I think they've addressed a lot of their issues. They have spent a lot of money, but if you
Yeah,
see, they've pretty much cleansed the team of any deadwood whatsoever, and
yeah.
it sort of left them short last year, and they missed out on Champions League. But for this season, it's been the perfect foundation for them to go out and make these big signings in the right positions and address the major issues in the team.
Yeah, I think the board level, majorly, things have changed like really well. Because if you remember in Arteta's first transfer window, he signed Willian and David
Mhm.
Luiz, which the Arsenal fans hated. And to be honest,
Yeah.
both of them were flops. They didn't really do the task that Arteta brought them in to do, because they were experienced heads, right? Pundits always keep going on about how Arsenal lacks experience in defense. Maybe it's not all about experience. Maybe they just need leaders and people who are genuinely good players. Like, for example, Gabriel, he's been really good, Gabriel Magalhaes. And then Ben White, he's still young. Ben White is only 24, but he's still been really good ever since he came from Brighton. And all this groundwork for all this was laid last year itself when they brought in Ramsdale. A lot of people questioned why Arteta was bringing in Ramsdale for 25 or 30 million, I think, when they had
Mhm.
Burnley already, who was like clearly the number one at the time. But then as things panned out, Ramsdale has become the number one, and he's done really well as well. With Leno going out, and he's playing at Fulham right now, so Arteta has been proven right in that sense. Now, the good thing about Arsenal, in my opinion, is they've been very quick
Mhm.
in recent years, and they've been consistent with what they wanted. They've gotten rid of Deadwood window by window. They first got rid of Willian David Luiz last year, and then in the January window they got rid of Aubameyang, and then they got rid of Lacazette,
That was it.
and
Yeah.
then Leno eventually. So they've gotten rid of Deadwood, like you said, but they've also signed like players pretty quickly early in the window. So they signed Jesus and Zinchenko, and that's literally 70% of your window, right?
Mhm.
So, but I still feel like had they gone for Douglas Luiz a little earlier, because he's in his final year of his contract and he's clearly
Yeah.
Yeah,
told the Villa management that he wanted to leave. And with Partey injured and El Neni injured, they had to make do with Lokanga and Zaka. Like,
Mhm.
although they're good players, you have the Europa League coming up on Thursday, and then you need players fit and ready in midfield. And I feel that's one area where they'll struggle. So to not have a contingency plan to get somebody else, if not for Douglas Lewis, is probably one area where I feel it could bite them. But if they can somehow hold on until El Neni and Partey come back, yeah, then it will be fine. But holding on is the big issue.
Okay.
it could have been a 10 out of 10 signing if they actually got Douglas Luiz back
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
the transfer
true. I
window.
think that party replacement is the only thing they are missing.
Mhm.
So I think with all that said, guys, what is your final, what is the grade you'd give Arsenal's transfer window?
I think I'd give them a solid A minus here. It would have been an S or something if they had signed a midfielder because
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
signings
think
have been
for
really
me,
good.
A as well. Yeah. And for you,
Same here,
Rohit?
same here. A minus, same here, A minus. Again, A
Okay.
minus.
Perfect. I think it's been a great time chatting with you guys. I think we've covered all the major signings of the top six clubs and the way this affected them, and how their expectations have changed. Um, I think yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a great time, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye, guys. Take care.